Okay, so we're going to start off by working with some text files and finding a way to import data from text files into our PHP application. This is supposed to be a content management system. So let's start off first of all by going into our file structure. What you should have is a folder with your name on. Mine's called CMS for the moment, and let's just create a text file called Hello World, and in it we'll simply have the text Hello World. So we'll save that in the tester folder as helloworld.txt. So there we have it. The next thing we're going to do is create another new file. This one we will call index.php, and we'll save that in the root folder, not in the tester folder. So this will just be in your folder with whatever your name is. As I say, mine is called CMS, and we'll call that index.php. And what we're going to do here is that we're going to simply use some basic PHP commands to read the contents of this file. So we'll start with our PHP declarations, opening and closing them, and then we're going to use the fopen command. So we'll start off by declaring a variable called myfile, and then we will use the fopen command, and the arguments that we need to use for this is going to be the path to our Hello World file. So in this case that's in our tester file. So we'll put tester/helloworld.txt. These should be in speech marks, and then we can add a few different parameters. We're going to add the R parameter, which we will cover in a bit more depth as we go into the lesson. We need a message if we're unable to do this, so we're going to use the or die, and we'll say here unable to open file, and that's that. So our next thing is that we want to read the contents of the file, and by reading that we want to output that using the echo command. So we'll use fread. This is another new one. So we have fopen to open the file, fread to read the file. Obviously the contents are going to be stored in the variable myfile, so we're going to use that there, and we'll stick in there the path to our text again, tester/helloworld.txt. And then finally, having done that, we want to free up any resources, so we need to use the fclose command, and we're just going to close the file detailed in the myfile variable. So there we have it. So we've got the fopen. We pointed at our text file helloworld.txt. If it fails, we want it to say unable to open file. There we are. It helps if I spell it correctly. Then we're going to echo out what we read from the file, and then finally close the file to free up any resources. So let's test that. I'm using a piece of software here called Brackets, and I have to tell it where the local server is, which I will find. If I just go to my website there we are, and that's the file. And for the future part of it, I'm just going to take this path and stick it into brackets, which will make things an awful lot easier. So let's just pop that in there. Super, and that will work. Okay, so that's the simplest part of this. That works reasonably well. And what we want to do next is just show how this text file is reasonably flexible, simply because as PHP is reading in this data, we can also read it in as HTML. So let's go back into hello world.txt, only this time declare it as some HTML. So I'm just going to pop in there a h1 tag around hello world, and for the sake of completeness we may as well put in a paragraph task as tag as well. So let's just put there, this is a paragraph, again misspelt, I'll correct that in a second. And if you save that off, come back into file here and refresh, you can see now this is rendered out as HTML with our h1 tag and our paragraph. So this is reasonably flexible in that we can store much of our content in our text file, just read it out and use PHP to render it. But of course we have the added flexibility that we can also use CSS to style it, and that's what we're going to do in the next section. So what you might want to do is download Bootstrap, which is what we're going to be using for our project, and I don't really mind, we can download it and you can work off local files, or alternatively what I'm going to do is I'm going to just reference a CDN, that's a content delivery network, whereby all these files already exist and they're waiting for us to do this. There we are, just correct that. And essentially we don't need to continually update things every time the script changes. So perhaps the best thing for us to do is, in the first instance, go out to getbootstrap.com, and on getbootstrap.com we have the ability to put the code in for the CDNs. I'm just going to make a slight change to what I have here, primarily because instead of just echoing this these details out, what I want to do is create an HTML file. The contents of the text file I want to go into a variable, and in that variable I want to be able to put that in multiple places and put out the contents of the file to that specific place. So what I'm doing here is I'm just creating a simple HTML structure by which we can output our code. Here's the PHP declaration, and so at this point I'm just going to echo out the contents of the file, and it will give me exactly the same as what we have at the moment, but I've now built in a certain amount of flexibility now that I can just output this echo nil text wherever I like. So, right, okay, I've managed to break that. Let's just go back in and see what I've done wrong. I see. I've not assigned it correctly. I'm just missing a little equal sign. So if we add the equal sign on line 4, it should read $nil text equals fread. And if we save that off, there we are, that's come back to life. Okay. So if I output this multiple times, you can see here that we get it output to the screen multiple times. So let's go and grab this code from Get Bootstrap. If you go to the Getting Started tab, you can just copy and paste the appropriate code back into your page. Pop it between the head tags. And when we go back to our simple CMS page, and if we save this code, we can see now that the styling that comes from the Bootstrap CSS has now been added. Let's just add some divs. And again, this will show us how we can be a bit more flexible with our layout. Now we are just left at the end of that declaration off there. Okay, and we'll just repeat this 3 times. Okay, so we should now have this appear 3 times, and we can add a class. This is a predefined style within Bootstrap where we can make this appear as a row. So we're going to wrap our existing 3 divs within this new div. And you can see there that the Bootstrap styling has been applied. That's not quite what we want. What we want to do is, instead of having these appear going down the page, what we would like these to do is go across the page, sharing equal amounts. Now, as you will recall from lesson, the Bootstrap CSS defines the width of the page in terms of columns, and each page is considered to be 12 columns wide, so we want to apportion these 12 columns equally across our 3 areas. So we're going to use this col-md-4, and you can see there that that has spread each of these across there equally. You can chain additional styles on there, so if, say for instance, you wanted to align the text in there centrally within that third of the page, then we can just simply add to our code the appropriate style for doing it, which off the top of my head I think is just center. So let's do that. That's text center, and if we do that on all 3 divs, we can see there that has been applied. So that's how to structure your page using Bootstrap, and we can read content in from an external file and render it in different places within our page structure.